Welcome friends, I am Hitesh Kumar Agrawal, Assistant Professor at PG College of Pharmaceutical Science and Research, Nandurbar. In this video, we are going to study female reproductive system. Learning outcomes. After completion of this video, learners will be able to define various terminologies associated with female reproductive system. They will be able to classify various organs and organ systems. They will be able to illustrate the structure of various organs. They will be able to outline the location and functions of organs. They will be able to discuss the process of ovulation and hormones that control it. They will be able to compare the changes occur at puberty and physiology of menstruation. With this, we will start with our lecture. It contains the classification of organs, that is internal and external genital organs, functions of female reproductive systems, vestibule and vestibular glands, along with mammary glands. Introduction. The female reproductive system is divided into two groups: internal and external organs or genitalia. Internal genitalia are located in pelvis. External genitalia are located in perineum. The mammary glands are considered as a part of both integumentary, which is associated with sensory and secretory system, and female reproductive system. Classification. Female reproductive system is classified into internal and external genitalia, as we have already seen in introduction. Internal genitalia consist of ovaries, also called as female gonads, the uterine or fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. External genitalia consist of mona pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, vestibule and vestibular glands. In general, functions of female reproductive system. Ovaries produce oocytes and female sex hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Uterus provides suitable environment for fertilization, that is for formation of zygote. It also acts as site for ovum implantation and fetal development that occurs in uterus. The vagina receives sperms through penis during sexual intercourse. It also acts as a passage for childbirth. The mammary gland produce and secrete milk for nourishment of the newborn. Continuing with the ovaries. In the diagram, you can see the marked circle with ovary. The ovaries are the pair glands. Each resemble like almond in shape and size. Size of each ovary is about 2.5 to 3.5 cm long, 2 cm wide and 1 cm thick. The ovaries lies on either side of the uterus, as you can see in the diagram, in the ovarian fossa on lateral walls of the pelvis. Histology of ovaries, you can see the diagram. The ovaries are made up of two layers of tissues. The outer surface is covered by the simple germinal epithelium tissue, and the inner thin layer of connective tissue lies deep to the germinal epithelium, which is also called as tunica albuginea. The histology of ovary shows the presence of ovarian cortex, ovarian follicles, corpus luteum and ovarian medulla. We will look one by one. Ovarian cortex. The outer part of ovary is called as ovarian cortex. It lies deep to the tunica albuginea. It contains ovarian follicle, each of which contain ovarian follicle. It is surrounded by connective tissue which contains stroma cells. Stroma cells consist of immature cells called an oocytes. Oocytes are surrounded by single layer of cells called follicle cells. Ovarian follicles, they lies in the cortex, consist of oocytes. Follicle cells are surrounding them. The surrounding cells nourish the developing oocytes. They secrete the hormone estrogen to grow follicle larger. The developing egg in follicle gets mature. It is ready to rupture and expel its secondary oocyte called as ovulation. Ovulation occurs during menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle generally occurs every 28 days. Corpus luteum. It contains remainder of the mature follicle after ovulation. It produces female sex hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. It also produces hormone called as relaxin, which softens the pubic symphysis that helps in parturition. Parturition is a terminology used to give the child birth. It secretes hormone inhibitin. It secretes hormone inhibin which suppresses follicle stimulating hormone. Ovarian medulla. It lies deep to the ovarian cortex. The border between the cortex and medulla is not sharply defined. It consists of loosely connective tissues. It contains nerves, blood vessels, and lymphatic vessels. Dear learners, in our earlier videos, we have seen and studied the process of spermatogenesis. Think over it, that differentiate the process of spermatogenesis in male and oogenesis in female. Pause the video for a while and note down the differences between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. After finishing it, play the video and guess the answer. Yes, you have right. Spermatogenesis, that is sperm production in males, take place after puberty. In contrast, oogenesis in females occurs even before they are born. Oogenesis. The formation of gametes in the ovaries is called as oogenesis. It occurs in the same way as spermatogenesis. Meiosis takes place resulting cell undergo maturation. It occurs in two phases. During fetal period, the oogonium converted into the primary oocytes through mitosis, where it gets converted into primary oocytes in prophase 1. This process occurs with the progress of meiosis. Now we will see the second part of oogenesis, which occurs after puberty and lasts up to menopause. Primary oocyte still in the prophase 1 gets converted into primary oocyte, which converts or separates into secondary oocyte, that is in metaphase 2, and in first polar body. When the secondary oocyte in metaphase 2 combines with sperm, it produces ovum. Meiosis II is completed here if the fertilization occurs. If the fertilization doesn't take place, it produces the secondary polar body. The first polar body diversified into two processes of meiosis, producing polar bodies. All these polar bodies gets disintegrates after menstrual cycle. Fallopian tube. They are in pairs, also called as oviducts. Each uterine tube measures about 10 cm long. They are extended from uterus and lies between the body and fundus. Sperms reach to ovum through uterine tubes. They transport secondary oocytes and fertilized ova from the ovaries to the uterus. The funnel-shaped portion of each tube is called infundibulum. Infundibulum opens in the ovary and lies in the pelvic cavity. Now we'll study the histology of fallopian tube. Each uterine tube is composed of three layers. First one is mucosa. Mucosa contains epithelium and areolar connective tissue. It is also surrounded by ciliated epithelium which helps to move fertilized ovum. It consists of non-ciliated cells also called as PEG cells which contains microvilli. Microvilli secretes fluid which provides nutrition to ovum. Second, muscularis. It is the middle layer made up of smooth muscles. It consists of lining of ciliated epithelium cells. It brings out peristaltic movement which facilitate fertilized ovum towards the uterus. Third layer is serosa. It is the outer layer supplied with blood and lymphatic vessel. It is also involved in peristaltic movement of uterine tube. Functions of fallopian tube. Fertilization of ovum takes place in fallopian tube. It may take 24 hours after ovulation. The fertilized ovum is propelled towards uterus for implantation. Implantation may take 6 to 7 days after ovulation. If ovum is not fertilized, it gets disintegrates. Thank you. I am very much thankful to the learners for listening the video with patience. Also, I am very much thankful to the entire team of Department of Pharmacy, Government Polytechnic Jalgaon for their guidance and assistance in preparing this PowerPoint presentation video. Stay home, stay safe and happy learning. Thank you.